So when you say that children are being affected by what's going on in Morocco with the dogs, how do we know that?
That's a good question, and I think these questions need to be asked, and it's good to be in a position of being able to answer them. So, I mean, I can talk about sort of personally how I know this, but I can also talk about what we know from other sources about children being exposed to this. So the coalition itself, so the IAWPC, we have a number of witness testimonies to this, which includes testimony from children. So we do have audio files that parents of Moroccan children have sent to us of their own volition. We haven't asked for this; we've been sent it, of children talking about their very difficult, troubling experiences of having, for example, formed bonds with the animals that live in the areas that they live, and then seeing directly the animals being killed, either through them being shot. So we talk about children seeing the animals being shot. The children talk about how the dogs don't necessarily die immediately. The dogs are terribly wounded, and I don't know if you've ever heard, Hayley, the sound of a dog being shot and they're screaming. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Kids have also spoken about how when they're in bed at night time and they hear the gunshot going off at night time, and again they hear the animals being hit, being wounded, they hear the animals screaming. This is particularly awful for children because they don't know what's happening to the animal. They can't see them, they can just hear, they can't see the animal. So and this is something that children talk about, in their mind they don't know then if the animal is alive. Has it crawled off somewhere, is it desperately in pain, is the animal dead, all these questions, that those questions would be in my mind as well. It's understandable. Kids would ask themselves these questions. So there's children talking about the shooting, also children talking about the animals being poisoned. So it's not uncommon, for the children to see, but also know, if they're not seeing, that food's put down with poison, various types of poison.
Yeah.
We've been told that some of the poison is strychnine. We've been told some of it that is rat poison, for example. And then what children have talked about is when the animals then eat the meat with the poison, it takes them such a long time to die, a long time. And so children are seeing this kind of very prolonged death that animals have. And this is really important as well, Hayley, when children see and talk about the animals being trapped. So we have unfortunately lots of videos which include the trapping of the animals, where these teams or people working in isolation sort of come with these, they're like neck clamps. It's really hard to sort of describe them, but we have got, as I said, unfortunately, lots of footage, sort of neck clamps. So the dog's trapped in a clamp around its neck, and there might be also a clamp that's put around its kind of flank as well. So it might kind of like be double clamped, or it might just be around the neck, and then it might be carried or dragged down the street to so when I say street, I'm talking about residential areas, where people on their doorsteps, these animals that they've known for a long time are dragged down the street to often there's a truck there with like a caged back on it, with dogs in there who were just terrified, absolutely terrified. And then the animal's flung in there, sort of crushed in sometimes. And the children are seeing, they're seeing this again. We've got videos of children running after trucks screaming.